So speaking about alcohol, as we like touched on before, many of these companies are, it's a seismic shift in what's happening. They're hemorrhaging sales, they're laying people off. Um, what advice would you give to them? And like, what are your thoughts on the future of alcohol? Like you said before, like it's not going away, but where is it going?
What people don't realize is because I get a lot of people texting me like, this is so great, alcohol consumption is at an all-time low. And like, well, on the one hand, I'm obviously very happy that customers are taking notice of the changes in their body and don't feel the pressure to drink as much. I really hope Gia at some point is part of a big alcohol group, and we need them to do well so they can buy us.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
yeah.
and like,
Pernod Ricard, here we are.
like your stock is down.
Yeah.
Get it together. But I think that they need to not panic and doing like stupid stuff, like very diluted, spin-offs of like existing brands, and just like the kind of like chasing the next trends. I think that, again, like staying true to themselves. I Pernod is a really good example because they're aperitif experts.
I know the
They're
conviviality, it very well matches with Gia because
they're
that is a
amazing. They're
very big
actually
part.
investors in Gia.
Yeah.
They've been amazing, and they, I mean, I would be so honored if Gia was part of Pernod. Like, I always say I'm a cagole because my family's from the south of France, and I
Oh yeah,
just love
perfect.
that aesthetic.
Oh, the Mediterranean, les Ambiers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like I had my first pastis at 6 years old. It would be
Yeah.
so incredible. If not the full glass, don't worry, everybody. But they know exactly where their roots are. It's like very, sunny drink in
Yeah.
peak summer, like aperitivo. There's like a very joyful energy to these drinks, and I think that they're going to be fine. There's always going to be this kind of like want to celebrate.
I agree. I think the world is shifting, but alcohol will always be around, and it'll probably be more of a mixed occasion where you see, alternative NA beverages, hemp beverages, alcohol, and people will just be able to better regulate and decide for themselves, um, but have more options to really live better and drink better because there weren't these options around. And I think, that's why, I feel so passionate about drinks with benefits is like, I look back to growing up, in this small town and like it was just like Labatt's Blue, we were drinking and that was it. And then you graduated up to like a whiskey and Coke. and I wish, I was just very sporty, I ran a lot, I played a lot of soccer, and I wish that there had been these options and then they had been cool.
Yeah, and it's not even,
And
I mean, the alcohol part is a big part of it, obviously, but I
yes.
think the ingredients really is another, which
Yeah.
is, yeah, I can't, I know too much to have a Coca-Cola, I think I have less Coca-Cola than I have even like alcohol because it's just as bad. It just all feels like not aligned with, what I want to eat. And I'm not super precious with my diet, but I just feel like, it feels like the same indulgence for me to have a glass of wine or to have a Coke Zero, and you just can't default to having a Coke Zero when you know what's in it, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of the idea. Is like I think that there's probably a few upgrades that they could make. And by the way, even around transparency in the US, you don't even have an ingredient label on most alcohol
Oh,
products, and that's
yeah.
crazy.
No, and I totally agree with you. And that's why, and I've been seeing it among more and more friends, like the Yuka app, which was actually founded by a French woman.
Yeah,
It's so helpful in seeing, transparency in food items.
yeah,
And we need that in drinks.
yeah.